second channel, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing a very old-fashioned, very chilled out Q&A. So I'm kind of getting back into the groove with my second channel, and I put on my Discord, which come and join it if you want, and was like, if anyone has any questions, if they're intense, if they're just like surface level silly ones, hit me with them, because this is the time of day where I'm currently getting ready to go live on Twitch, but I can't go live unless I have either a coffee or a Red Bull. And so I thought that I would film this and go through the little Q&A and kind of just hang out. So if you're here for a little bit of background noise, I'm here to give it to you. I'm very excited because I'm wearing my Bonnie Tyler t-shirt today. I am finding so many gems in my clothes while I am like going through all of my wardrobes and boxes and suitcases and stuff. Hold on, let me take this first sip of Red Bull. This is normally euphoric, except it's like warm, so it's not going to be that euphoric, but it's still going to be good. Whenever it's warmer, the bubbles in it are a little bit nastier. Anyway, so yeah, I asked in my Discord. I'm gonna kind of just scroll through and read a couple and have like an open conversation here. I'm also gonna be posting a vlog later on tonight. I've been vlogging today, but this is just something, you know, something that I just kind of want to sit down, enjoy my Red Bull, and talk with all of you. So I have not pre-vetted any of these. I'm just gonna scroll and look. Someone said, what is your favorite thing to do to unwind? That was from Bella. Hi, Bella. My favorite thing to do to unwind, honestly, is do nothing. And I talk to people all the time, and I don't know if anyone can relate who's listening to this. I talk to people all the time who like to do an activity to unwind. For me, unwinding is literally sitting in silence or sitting in peace. I really enjoy doing something or noise always whenever I'm doing any activity, whether that's a YouTube video or a podcast or music. So sometimes whenever I really need a moment to myself, I will take myself into my bedroom and I will just literally lie down in my bed for complete silence, or I will just sit in complete silence. Like I'll sit out on my balcony, or sometimes I'll even go to a park and just sit. And if I'm doing an activity, I really can't unwind because I'm focusing on the activity, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not doing a good job of the activity, I'm not unwinding, I'm focusing on the activity. Don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but as someone who always needs something to look at, hear, or do, sometimes silence is just the best case scenario for me. Also, I just looked in the viewfinder and saw this tattoo. This is definitely my favorite tattoo. I literally cannot believe that I met Mariah Carey. Alright. Let me see. Someone said, how are you feeling about your move coming up? I kind of talked about this yesterday, so what I will say is today I feel a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday I got a little bit stressed. I think I always do end of night. I don't know if, again, anyone relates to that, but my problems or things that I'm dealing with always seem more extreme at nighttime whenever I don't have like my mom to call or my friends to like text, and I'm just like dwindling in my own thoughts. So it's, you know, 7 p.m. feeling good. 7 a.m. maybe a different story. Someone said, do you listen to K-pop? If so, what grips? Now, I went through a huge K-pop phase whenever I was like 16 to like 18. I'm literally going to see Twice in London, which is a K-pop group. Next week, I'm going to both their London shows. So I still love K-pop, but yeah, I went through a K-pop phase. Twice is definitely my favorite. But BTS were always my boys. They were always my boys. Alright. Someone said, do I have any plans for new tattoos? Okay, so the best part about getting a tattoo is that you will love it. And it's, you know, an idea that comes to life. But what people don't talk about is whenever the idea doesn't come to life and you fucking hate it. So I hate this tattoo. This is the Mariah Carey Emancipation of Mimi album cover. Let me pull it up. And okay, hold on. Emancipation of Mimi, Mariah Carey. Let me show you what we were going for. So, it was my amazing tattoo artist that has done most of my tattoos who did this. So this is the album cover, and then it's like the outline of it. I really don't like it, and it's no fault of the tattoo artist because she has done my favorite tattoos on me. She did this one, this one, this one, these three, this one, and then this one. But for this one, when the idea doesn't come to life, it's really upsetting, especially whenever it's this big. I really don't like it at all, and I ended up going to a different artist in London and getting them to like redo it, and they made it darker, they added a little bit of shadows, they added butterflies to it. I really fucking hate it. So I am hoping to get Remy from Ratatouille over this. I just don't know how tattoo cover-ups work or anything like that. So if anyone can give me some advice, because the only thing holding me back is I don't know what to say to the tattoo artist, or do I give a picture that fits in with like the blank spaces that they can work with here? I do not know. If anyone has any advice, let me know. Like, I was even considering lasering this off, but just the process of lasering sounds excruciating, so I'd rather cover it up. So am I planning any new tattoos? This one, but if anyone has a, you know, tattoo cover-ups, let me know how that experience goes, because I don't know what to expect. Oh, she also did this one as well, the Madame X Madonna logo. So that is one of the worst things about getting a tattoo, whenever it doesn't go the way you think, but it was my fault for giving an idea that really didn't translate well. And what's so funny, whenever I went back to Derry, you know, a couple days ago, I ran into my tattoo artist, and she was super sweet. I love her so much. And she was like, do you want any tattoos while you're here? And I was like, I'm not here long enough to get a tattoo, but like, can we redo this one and do a cover up? And she was like, yeah. But obviously I'm not back in Derry, and that's the artist who did it. So I don't know how to do it with like an artist who didn't do the original one. I don't know. Okay, let me do another one. Okay, so someone said, do you have any ghost stories? Now, I do not have any ghost stories. However, my parents are persuaded that the house that they live in right now is haunted. And they've retold stories many times of, you know, things moving or hearing footsteps or hearing people enter the house. And the house is so fucking old. Like, the house that they live in is literally so old. Like, an old house, an old brick house. And so there's a lot of people who have lived there, and a lot of people who are no longer alive that live there, and they are persuaded that there is, you know, ghosts and paranormal activity in there. And I ended up coming clean to my mom and dad in Paris that one of the stories that they always told, where my mom, you know, was down the stairs and a roll of toilet roll was getting thrown down, like one by one or something like that, or something was getting thrown down the stairs. My mom always told us the story about this ghost in the house. What I never told my parents was that I was up the stairs throwing it down, finding it funny that they were so freaked out. However, my mom rebuked that story and said, actually, that happened again when you weren't in the house. So I don't know what to believe with that, but at least one of the times that my parents had a paranormal activity, it was me up the stairs trolling them, throwing stuff down, and then pretending to be asleep. But they are persuaded that it's happened many other times, and my dad as well, who isn't, you know, he isn't the most believing of a believer. But I remember that my mom and dad were so persuaded that the house was haunted that my mom made me and my dad, my brothers had moved out at this stage, made me and my dad go around every single room and like bless every room. And my family are not religious. We literally do not go to church. We don't practice religion. Like we're not like every day, you know, saying our prayers or anything like that. Like, I went to Catholic schools, but I particularly do not find myself to be a religious person, and I don't know where, you know, I fall under spirituality, religion, nothing. I don't really know where I fall in that. And also, a side topic of that, it's really let me finish the story before I forget. So my mom made me, her, and my dad go around every room and like bless the room and say that we don't wish any harm to anyone that's here or anything. And like, my parents aren't even religious, and I was like, holy shit, like, they're really deep in this. But anyway, kind of going on the religion conversation here, I remember being in secondary school, so I would have been around 13 or 14 at this stage, and we used to, obviously it was a religious school, you know, these priests would come in and do these like ceremonies and all this, right? And I remember that there would always be like 20 people in the year group that would sit in the corner. And I found out that, you know, they were atheists and they didn't believe, and the school didn't force them to have to be a part of anything. So they just kind of sat on their own. And I always remembered how much they were looked down upon by the teachers and the other students, and conversations that like I would overhear, and I never really understood it. And kind of looking back on it now, it's really fucking disturbing that even if it's a religious school, that there's not open conversations that are allowed to happen about atheism, religion, spirituality, to kind of allow people to you know, go their own way or figure out where they want to lie in life or what their opinions are. I mean, we were kind of just told that the atheists, you know, were just non-believers of anything, and they're gonna, you know, like, and it was really, really, really harsh the way the teachers would speak about all of these, like, kids, by the way. But it's like, wouldn't it have been so much better if we had, like, open conversations where they were allowed to talk and the teachers were allowed to respond and we were allowed to ask questions, rather than just, they don't believe, they're, you know, off on their own and they're not involved at all. Because most of my friends who were going to the, you know, the Catholic ceremonies that I was going to as well, we were not necessarily the most interested in what was happening, but the teachers didn't treat us any differently than they did the kids who were atheists, because they were like, oh, you know, you're sitting and, you know, being a part of it. And it's so weird that, like, open conversations weren't allowed to happen about discovering what you believe, what you want to believe, understanding, or just, it was just kind of really weird. I mean, my schooling experience really fucked in general. And also, Catholic schools are fucking intense. Holy shit. I'm scrolling through. Someone said apple or orange juice. Always apple juice. Apple juice quenches the thirst very easy. Sorry, that was just a really surface level question. Alright. Someone said, what is your biggest goals or dreams, realistic or not, that you'd like to achieve before 30 or 40? I'm going to be honest with you. The thought of reaching 30 and 40, to me, I just can't see myself aging. And it's really, really, really weird. And I'm going to knock on wood while I say that. But for me, I never thought I would be 20. And I don't know if that makes sense, but whenever I was 15, the thought of being 20 would not, you know, connect in my head. So if someone would ask me, what are you going to do when you're 20? I wouldn't have an answer, because I couldn't imagine being 20. And it was really weird as well, because I remember there was a time whenever I was like 11 or something that I watched a YouTube video where elders were talking about their youth. And I remember thinking, like, oh my god, I can't imagine being 18, you know, and being an adult. And I thought that at like 11 or 12. And so I think I've lived my life not really being able to perceive myself growing older. And the thought of someone being like, what am I gonna do at 30 or 40? That stresses me out, rather than being like, what are my hopes and dreams? And, you know, I would love to be in my 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and all this. But for me, so much changes in everyone's life within 6 months or 6 weeks or 6 days that I ended up stop telling myself like where I'd want to go or where I'd want to see myself, because it turned into a battle of being disappointed or being excited or being disappointed. And I just felt that it was so much easier for me to be like, okay, I'm just going day by day, and that is so cliche, I'm just living day by day. But for me, honestly, it stresses me out more than it provides me any sort of comfort to be like, where am I gonna be? Honestly, my priority right now is where am I gonna be when I'm 21? I am turning 21 on the 30th of September, and I'm like, what the fuck does 21 have in store for me? Rather than even thinking about 30 or 40. I mean, my brother, my eldest brother, is about to turn 30, and I'm like, I do not perceive him as a 30-year-old. It's really, really, really strange to me. And I don't know. I mean, what dreams do I have? If I had to say any, it would be to travel. I would love to raise a German Shepherd. By the time that I'm 30 or 40, I would love to have a German Shepherd. It is my dream dog. That is really where I'm gonna leave it, because I would love to be happy in where I'm living, and I mean, by that stage, I'll have probably moved around a lot of cities and stuff. I mean, this is me now going to my third city, Derry, Brighton, and Manchester. I would love to, you know, feel a little bit settled. I don't know. I would love to have tried living, you know, in some part of, you know, like mainland Europe, like Spain or France or something like that, trying that. I do not know at all. I don't know if anyone else is like that, because I know a lot of my friends are like, whenever I'm 20, I'm gonna do this. Whenever I'm 30, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, you are stressing me out. And I remember one of my friends who I used to talk to about that, whenever she was 30, she wanted to do this and that and this and that. And the next year she got pregnant, and her entire life is, you know, completely down a new path now, which is very exciting. But just life is very unpredictable, that it's like, I don't know. I mean, by the time I'm 30 and 40, I hope that my parents are still here, and I hope my family is still here, because I don't know what I would do without my family. Alright, let me do another one. Someone said, do you have a beast inside? Yes, I do. and I'm waking it up. Someone said, hold on, I'm scrolling through, there's so many here. Any updates on when you're meeting Cynthia? So Cynthia is the wine queen from Paris. I would love to go. The problem is, like I said, she messaged me again and I haven't opened it because I don't want to be rude and decline for a second time because it's all just about dates and stuff. The thing that's holding me back from going is that I would be going alone with people that have booked the experience, and she told me that it's, you know, a lot of couples and families and they all speak French, and I will be going there and I will just feel very, very, very alone, which is fine. However, the tour is like 12 hours, so that's the only thing that's holding me back. But I posted a video yesterday and I was like, I'm thinking of doing a birthday trip this year because I talked about that I normally get sad on my birthdays and I like a distraction. I know maybe not healthy, but whatever. And a lot of people were like, you should go to Paris and, you know, do the wine tour for your birthday. And again, that may be something that happens. I get so nervous whenever I have to do activities on my own in which other people are in a group. I love doing things on my own, but whenever I do things where other people are with their friends or with their family and I'm alone, I start to feel very, very, very just like, ugh. So, I don't know. Hi, Dolly. She got her haircut today. You'll see in the vlog. Very, very, very exciting. Someone said, would you make a whole video in Spanish? Considering my Spanish ability really cuts off at Selena Gomez, A Year Without Rain, I really can't do much there. I don't even know if my pronunciation is that. Di que sientes cuando pienso en ti una y otra vez cada instantes y mis asuntos mi mundo está revés. See, I don't even know if that's correct because I literally would just listen to Selena Gomez sing it and that was a really loud swallow, Dolly. Really great work. And I would just kind of repeat, like, is it phonetically what she was saying? So I have no idea all this time. Ooh, I have a hair in my... I have no idea after... Oh, there it is. After all this time, if what I'm saying singing in Spanish is correct. Di que sientes cuando pienso en ti una y otra vez cada instantes mi musa suntoni mi mundo está... See, I could literally be getting made fun of right now by anyone who speaks Spanish because I do not know if that makes sense. I did not read it on paper. I literally would listen to Selena Gomez and regurgitate what I heard. And by the way, learned this when I was like 8 years old. It's probably all wrong, but to me, it sounds right. To me, it sounds right. That's all that matters. All right. Someone said, how do you deal if someone ghosts you? If someone ghosts me, I take it personally. And I'm like, I didn't want you anyway. Whether it's a friend, relationship, anything, family member, if I get ghosted, I will feel resentment. And I will be like, I don't want you in my life anyway. And most of the time, I'll just ghost them back. And I don't know if that's healthy or whatever, but I do everything in my power, whether you believe me or not, to try and not have confrontation. Especially in-person confrontation. Now, that may be a shock to some of you. But even online, like I know it may sound bizarre. I do try my best to, like, be as least confrontational as possible. Because I don't necessarily enjoy it. And if I'm ever in a situation where someone will ghost me or anything, it actually doesn't happen that often, but the reason for that is because I don't have that big of a circle. If that happens, I will want to avoid confrontation, so I won't confront them, so I'll probably just ghost them back, and I'll be like, bye, bestie, I guess. If you could choose one exotic pet, what would it be, no matter how crazy it seems? A capuchin monkey. Is that how you pronounce that breed? My For You page on TikTok is just people that have, like, monkeys as pets. And, like, for the most part, it's, like, quite problematic to, like, keep monkeys as pets, clearly. But, like, I was just always so fascinated about it. And, like, these people who, like, raise these, like, monkeys that are, like, this size, like, they don't have children, they don't whatever, because the monkey, like, takes up their entire life and is, like, even more intense than a toddler. Like, if I could have my way, it would be a capuchin monkey. Or a cockatoo. I adore cockatoos. I think they're so beautiful, I think they're so intelligent, but I know that it would outsmart me. Most birds would, and I can't. Also, whenever I was in Derry, in the pet shop called Jolly's, which is like a little bit more of like an independent chain rather than like Pets at Home or like, what's the one in America called? PetSmart? And what's the other one called? I don't know what the other one's called, but it's kind of like a smaller chain. Or maybe, is it a chain? I don't know. Hold on. They've started selling animals that are like hand reared, and they're doing a lot of like adopted animals rather than just like selling animals, which is really great. I kind of would wish the pet shops would get rid of the format of selling animals in general. And something that really broke my heart was whenever I was in New York, 2 trips ago, me and my mom were in, was it East Village? It was where Stonewall is. I don't know. That's not Brooklyn, right? I don't know if it's Brooklyn or East Village. I don't know. Or Lower East Side. I have no idea. Hold on. Needed to clean myself there. And me and my mum were going to go and get stuff. Sorry, just lost my train of thought there. Me and my mum were going to go get toys for our dogs, which we normally do on trips. Like I always say this, I love going to pet shops from like different places I visit and getting, you know, toys for the dogs. Even if it's as simple as a toy I could get back home, at least I know like I got you that in New York. And so I was told to my mum, we went to this like authentic Italian restaurant, and like a couple doors down was a dog store. And I was like, oh my god, Mom, like, we were gonna do this. Like, the dog store is, like, 2 doors down. My mom was like, great, we'll go right after this. I did not know that when they say dog store, they literally mean dog store. There was no toys, but you know what there was? Dogs. In, like, fucking, like... You know whenever you would go into, like, a pet shop and there would be, like, hamsters in the, like, built into the wall? There would be, like a... You know, like that? Each one was like a fucking dog. And in some of them, there was like a litter of 4. And in the window, like, how much is that puppy in the window? Literally, there was on the window display, and I know my mom listening to this is gonna not vividly, like, genuinely remember this moment. Because remember, Mom, we went to the cheese store next door, which had, like, the big blocks of cheese, and we were gonna take them. They smelled, like, really, really, really nasty, but they were, like, really, really, really good. Anyway, it's just a moment between me and my mom there. Whenever we walked in it, we walked to the shop, and the windows were glass, and it was like 2 litters of like pups, and the pups were like this size, so they were like probably like 8 weeks or something like that, 8 or 9 weeks, and there was like 6 of them here and like 4 of them there, and they were like, they didn't have like their mothers or anything in there, like it was literally just the pups, and they were all just like sleeping, and it was like the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And morally and emotionally, at that stage, me and my mom, who are the biggest dog lovers ever, should have walked away. But when we walk into the shop, because the reason we walked into the shop was because we were like, no way. We looked in the window, and it was like all the fucking storage units of dogs. And we walk in, and there is like pedigree Pomeranians, pedigree French Bulldogs, pedigree, like all these like high-end fucking dogs, all for like $3,000 each. And it was really, really, really crazy. I mean, just the whimpering and the barking, it was just like, it was so fucking depressing. And the workers were like, do you want to play with the dogs? We were like, what? And they were like, do you want to play with the dogs? And they bring out this playpen, and we're like, oh, no, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. And then there's this family comes in right after, and they're like, yes, we will. So then they put this like fucking like hamster playpen, bring out 2 puppies, and this like little girl is like playing with them. And it was like, oh my god, like that is the like affection time that these animals are getting. And it was just, I could never go back to that place, because I don't know how they exist. I really, really, really don't know how they exist. And then I remember tweeting or something about it, and everyone was like, oh, that's really common out here in America. And I'm like, what? It was crazy. And I don't know if it's common in many places of the world. It really, really, really was bizarre to me. I really, really, really didn't like it. And it really upset me. And you know what the worst thing is? My camera's about to die. Let me restart. You know what the worst thing is? There was a French Bulldog that me and my mom were like, and it was like playing with the glass, and it was like, like, we were at the glass and it was like playing with the glass, and my mom was like, oh my god, I really want to get it, you know, to make sure it has a good home. And I turned around to my mom and I was like, we need to leave, because that is exactly what these shops prey on. Like, people being like, oh, we need to, like, save this dog. But then once you get it, another one just goes in. And it's like this endless, really was the most surreal thing in the entire world. Anyway, the tangent I was going on was, I can't believe I remember the tangent I was going on. I don't think any pet shops should sell any animals. I don't think they should sell hamsters. I don't think they should sell guinea pigs. I don't think they should sell rabbits. I don't think they should sell birds. I just don't think that pet shops should be doing that. And I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but it just is a stressful environment for the animals, with fucking kids coming up to the glass like that. And, you know, their living conditions are obviously very fucking small. And I think that pet shops breed this irresponsible ownership of animals, specifically when it comes to hamsters or guinea pigs or rabbits, where they want them gone. So they will allow families to come in and buy their child a rabbit and let them buy the smallest fucking cage for it, even though rabbits are, you know, great when they free roam, or, you know, a bigger cage or a big grind or something. And I'm just really against it. But whenever we went into that, you know, pet shop Jollies, they had an influx of, like, adopted animals, you know, for people to adopt. And then again, I don't know if it's literally just animals they bought and then they're putting a fucking adopted sticker on, because apparently that happens as well. But anyway, there was this bird and it was like £1,000 or something like that. I don't know if it was 650 or 950. I think it might have been 950. And it was like hand reared, blah, 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 blah. And it was like this, parrot bird thing that could talk. And I have such a fascination with birds. I love birds, specifically parrots. So I had to go over. Me just going against all my statement. Had to go over, had to see it. And whenever I went over, there was these two young girls and they were talking to it. And one of them very clearly was like 6 and the other one was like 13. Very difference in height. You knew which one of the kids was younger. And the eldest one was talking to the bird and the bird was ignoring it. And then the youngest one would talk to the bird and the bird would respond to it. Then the eldest one would laugh, the bird would do nothing. Then the youngest one would laugh and the bird would go like, mimicking the young girl. And so I was like waiting for these girls to be like finished talking to the bird so I could talk to it. And I literally kept my mom in the shop for like 20 minutes, like waiting. We were like walking up and down the aisles waiting for these like girls to be done. I was like, my turn, my turn, my turn. And eventually it's my turn. And I go up and I like talk to it, nothing. Laugh at it, nothing. Sing to it, literally nothing. My mom does the same, nothing. It's like eating its food, not even giving us eye contact. And you want to know the worst thing? The young girl comes back again, laughs. The bird immediately laughs at her. Then the eldest one comes and does the same thing. Bird goes back to eating. And I was like, that is really peculiar. And me and my mom were talking about it, and we kind of came to the conclusion that the hand-reared bird was probably hand-reared around really young children. So, and is so intelligent that knows which are really young children and reciprocates well to them, and us old fucks, it really doesn't, you know, interact with. I thought it was really interesting. Sorry, I didn't really have a purpose with that story, but you are so beyond welcome for it. Oh, my phone is at 3%. Ooh. All right, let me read another one. I'm guessing with the recent doxing issue, this may be something you're understandably far less comfortable with now. And generally, privacy should be respected whether they're celebs or not. But have you ever randomly bumped into any muckers IRL? Oh my god, today whenever I was in the, walking into the cafe, sorry, someone came up to me. I think there's a difference in, because whenever I've seen Emma Chamberlain in LA, it was going to her boyfriend's show, and I like role models' music, and, you know, I said hi to her and asked her for a picture, and she said, yeah. I think that's different than looking up her address and showing up at her house, or going to a meet and greet of a famous celebrity versus going to their house, or literally just bumping into someone that you watch online and saying hello and asking for a picture in public, rather than putting their address online and trying to find them. And I think someone, knowing that my address was posted online and all these different things, what it has made me I do have a story. What it made me realize is just how much celebs' lives must be so closed in, because I'm not even a known person, and that happened to me, so I can't imagine with celebrities. But I have a story. So, I was never going to tell this story, but, hold on. I honestly think that if obviously it would range from, like, who the celebrity was. I think that if I ever saw a celebrity or an influencer that I like in public, I don't even think I would go up to them anymore. And the reason for this was my Disneyland trip this year. It was whenever I went with my friend Kat and her girlfriend and my mum. We were sitting down for food, and it was even in my vlog when we were, like, trying the pickles. And there was a table who were taking pictures of us the entire time. And so there was a table that ended up coming up and saying hello. They were really sweet. But there was also a table that were very clearly taking pictures and videos of the table. And what I quickly realized was that they were making fun of me. And that, you know, obviously I was a part of some sort of joke for them. Maybe that was going to go on their Instagram story or whatever. And it made me really uncomfortable. And I realized how much, you know, people deserve to have their spaces, you know, respected, even if they're in public. And it made me rethink all the times where I've seen influencers in public and I've gone up and talked to them or whatever. I'm like, obviously that's completely different than just recording them and stuff like that. But the thing that really kind of set me off was when that happened, it upset my mum. Because my mum was sitting beside me when this happened. I was here, my mum was here, Kat was here, and her girlfriend was here. So they were over here and taking videos. So it was of me and my mum, and it was of me and my mum eating, and it just made my mum really uncomfortable and kind of, like, put a damper on her day. And it was kind of like, damn, like, I never even thought about, like, if I go up to, like, an influencer and maybe they're in, you know, like, a situation that they don't want to be recognized in. You know, not even them being annoyed, but, you know, their circle around them or whatever. Whenever people come up to me and say anything, because I had people coming up to me and being like, I don't even watch your videos, but I saw the Colleen thing, just send in love. And I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. But when people are in on some sort of joke about you and, you know, recording you or whatever, and there's that connotation with it, and then whenever you look over, they immediately stop or something, that is a whole different scenario. And I really, really, really enjoy whenever people, you know, come up and say hi. I think it's really sweet. And we normally have a really, like, funny conversation. Or just, like, a productive, nice one, or whatever. But I think there's a difference whenever you're, like, knowingly making fun of someone, which is what a lot of those people at Disneyland that day were doing to me. This isn't a sob story or anything, but I'm saying that it kind of made me rethink the privacy of influencers and celebrities. Whereas I'm like, if I was to see one and they were out at dinner, would I say hello to them? Or would I just, like, leave them be now? And I think I would leave them be now. And maybe it had to be me experiencing, like, people, like, making fun of me for being online, taking pictures and videos of me, making me and my mom uncomfortable, like, that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe, but I definitely think my opinion of, like, boundaries with influencers and celebrities, even in public, has completely changed now. And for better, for worse, I guess. For better, for worse. But Disneyland was great. There were so many people that were so sweet and came up, but, like, when people are recording you and laughing at you, don't love that part as much. Don't love that part. My mom hated it as well, so shout out, guys. Thank you so much for that. Alright, let me look at another one. I'm gonna scroll up. Someone said, did you ever get into fan fictions? I'm gonna be honest. Fan fictions were not my thing. I know that people talk about, like, learning about intimate things from fan fictions when they were, like, kids. I was never really into fan fictions at all. And the reason for that was because I didn't like reading. So it's just an easy answer to that. Someone said, does taking care of all of your pets ever get overwhelming? Yes. And the reason it gets overwhelming is because I put so much pressure on... She's sleeping right now. I put so much pressure on being a good owner of pets. And I can kind of get in my own head a lot. And if I don't have time to take Dolly out on a walk... Bonnie really doesn't like going on walks. She is a fucking lazy couch potato. If I try to take her on a walk, she'll like this. But like Dolly, if I don't have time to take her out on a walk that day, I really get in my own head about it. And then I realize that I'm only like one person who can do so much. And it's like, I really do get down on myself if I'm not able to do an activity for each animal on said day. However, I would be completely lost without them, and whatever challenge that it is, I am 100% on board with, because I love them so much, and they genuinely are my entire world. She is, oh, I just woke her up. Hey, hey. Oh, she's really tired. We did just get back from a walk. So anyway, it is a lot of pressure sometimes, but I think no matter how much pressure, it's worth it. And I really do love them so much. And they're all just, the more time I have with them, the more I get to appreciate them as well, because you get more and more of their, like, quirky traits. Alright, I'm gonna read one more. Let me see. Someone said ice or no ice. Always ice. I also love chewing on ice. I don't know what that means. Alright, let me see. Ooh, this is a good one. Ooh. I'm really glad I saw this one. Are there any moments that you oddly miss from being a part of fandom culture, despite it being a toxic time in your life? That is a great question. Wow, that is a really, really, really great question. Are there any parts of fandom culture that I miss, even though it was a, you know, toxic period of my life? That is really interesting. Give me a moment with this. That is a great ass question. Hold on. Here's the thing. I was very young when I was in fandom culture. And I think the pros of it were that I was able to meet a lot of people that were interested in the same things that I was, and a lot of the things I was interested in were very niche, so I didn't have a lot of people in real life that cared about YouTube, or cared about Selena Gomez, or cared about Ariana Grande, or Miley Cyrus, or whatever, so it allowed me a place to connect to people who were my age, and some who weren't my age, hi Colleen, and relate to them, talk to them, express enjoyment with them. You know, if Selena Gomez released a song, I had a group of people to, you know, be excited with. Or if there was a really exciting thing that happened at VidCon, no one in real life cared about that, but, you know, this entire community online did. I think as well, it taught me the importance, if anything, it taught me the importance of, that the internet can be a good place. Because as toxic as a lot of stuff was to come out of fandom days, I'm not even talking about the clean stuff, I'm talking about, like, broad. I was in fandoms for many, many, many years. It taught me that there are people, you know, interested in the same things like you, as I, you know, previously just said, but also that you can meet so many different people, and that you can meet people online, because I did have a lot of internet friends that, you know, I ended up meeting, whether it was whenever I was an adult and they were adults, or, you know, whenever we both grew up into adults and we met up years later, or, you know, we would go to concerts together. I mean, whenever I was really deep in the Ariana Grande fandom, I would go every year to Ariana Grande's concerts in Dublin, and we had a group chat of people that were originally from the Colleen Ballinger fandom, also liked Ariana Grande. We made a group chat. We had already met at the Miranda Sings shows in Dublin. We would go every single year to the Dublin shows, and we would, you know, go to coffee, and we would line up outside the venue for the entire day, and we would just talk for the entire day, and then have the best time at the concert, and then never see each other again for another 365 days. It taught me that the internet can be a good place, and obviously boundaries and protect yourself and everything, but I am saying that I did meet a lot of people on the internet that I'm still friends with to this day. You know, we were kids when we met, and now we're adults, and we're all pretty much the same age. Like, most people that I'm friends with, that I was friends with during internet days, are literally 20 as well, or 21. You know, maybe a year difference or something like that. And those times I'll never, never, never forget. And they were some of the best times of my life, going to Dublin, and going to the Britney Spears concert with, you know, my friend Holly at the time from the Colleen fandom, or going to, you know, Dublin for the Ariana Grande shows. Whenever I won meet and greets for Ariana Grande at the Dangerous Woman tour, and I took Holly from the Colleen Ballinger days, and we both met her together, and our entire group chat of the Colleen and Ariana fans were sitting outside, and we just had the best day. And there are so many memories that I have that are really good, and they're kind of the things that I take from fandom days. And I kind of like to focus on them rather than the negativity, because there was way more negatives that came from being involved in fandoms than anything. I think one of the main negative things that impacted my life about being in fandoms was it kind of made me be a nastier person than what I am, because it was a breeding ground for, you know, nasty tweets, or, you know, hate mobs, or whether it was being in group chats and being told to, you know, attack ex-husbands or something like that. Like, it was a breeding ground for being nasty because you were all online. So I think the negatives way outweighed the positives, but I really do cherish the positives from that time period, because again, I was very young and I'm trying to take positives from it. But yeah, I think that if anything, it was a learning experience. I don't know if fandom culture is as big now as what it was whenever I and the generation before me were in it, so let me know if it is. But I mean, it was huge. It was really, really, really huge. So I take things here and there, but I think the negatives outweigh the pros. Again, pros are that I had some really good times and met some really amazing people, and the negatives are, it was just a breeding ground for negativity. Fed into that, it ate me alive. You become that, and it was very unproductive with my time, you know, spending, you know, all this time in Twitter group chats rather than doing my homework, you know, like, so there's pros and cons to it. But if anyone was ever involved in fandom, let me know what fandom and your experience with it, because I think it's such a broad topic. But I'm going to end it there. Red Bull's almost done. Thank you for chilling with me. I'm going to get ready to go live on Twitch. I appreciate you being here, and please subscribe to the second channel, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.